this is the General Motors 4.2 liter engine, also known as the LL8 or the Vortec 4200. It first rolled out of General Motors production line in 2002. Revolutionary for its time, the all-aluminum dual overhead cam engine featured a range of advanced technologies such as variable valve timing, electronic throttle control, and coil unplug ignition. It made an impressive 291 horsepower and 277 foot-pounds of torque. The Vortec 4200 is an incredibly reliable engine. One of the most impressive aspects being that the engine reaches almost 90% of its torque at 1800 RPM all the way to 5600 RPM. This allowed GM to provide similar power figures to its V8 rivals in a 6-cylinder package. The Vortec 4200 was best known for its use in the Chevy Trailblazer and the GMC Envoy, but can also be found in the Oldsmobile Bravada, Isuzu Ascender, Buick Rainier, and even the Saab 97X. Guys have been hot rodding this Chevy straight six for years now, adding turbos to the SUVs they came in, swapping them into different cars, with some making ungodly amounts of power. One guy even stuffed this Vortec 4200 into a Supra, but I haven't been able to find many that have used them in a purpose-built drift car. All I could find was this dude in Sweden that stuffed one into a Volvo, and then this RX-7 that looks pretty rowdy, but no completed S chassis that I know of, and that's where one of my best friends, Christopher Branscombe, comes in.
Love this goat.
Chris bought this original two-tone 1989 240SX from a guy in San Diego back in like 2011. This car came with a single cam K24E, making a whopping 134 horsepower and 154 foot-pounds of torque. But he soon swapped that out for an SR20 engine, did a Sylvia conversion, and got to drifting like a freaking madman. After years of driving, rebuilding the engine to make more power, painting the car, and several makeovers along the way, Chris and his S13 have become a unit, with tons of great memories made and even more burned up tires. And then, after years of basically only having the crap kicked out of it, and much to Chris's surprise, the old SR20 sent a rod through the block. Let's see this thing. There's a hole in the block. And with the heart of his drift car broken into pieces, and being the mechanical masochist that he is, Chris and I headed out to our local pick and pull to try to find a new donor heart for his drift car. We set our sights on this deep purple 2008 GMC Envoy. This particular year model comes with the E67 GM ECU, which makes tuning a little bit easier down the line. We tried hooking a Milwaukee battery up to the car to try to see if we can get the instruments to come on to determine how many miles are on this engine. Nothing. With no luck, we decided we're going to run with it.
The socket on there is f***ing tough.
I think we may be good, dude.
Definitely has compression.
So like barely anything's coming out though, right?
Yeah. It's not magnetic, but... Oh yeah, come to daddy.
So it takes to get the old tranny bolts out.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
So excited we started working at 4 times speed to finally get the Vortec 4200 out of this GMC Envoy. And here it is, Chris's massive new Vortec 4200. We also took the throttle pedal because Chris wants to keep the electronic throttle. Wasting no time, Chris got his old SR20 out of the way to make room for this big old Chevy straight six.
All right, me and Alex picked up this Vortec 4200 out of a 2008 Envoy last weekend at the pick and pull. When I got it home, I got it stripped down, the exhaust intake, or the exhaust manifold, the ginormous intake manifold off, as you can see. It's quite dirty in there. Not certain how many miles are on this motor. As you can see, this motor's pretty tall. I think the oil pan's like around 10 inches. So I've got a new one of those on order. I intend on just using the flange and kind of building my own oil pan. I've got it suspended here from the skid steer, and we're going to take the oil pan off and look at the lower half. Got the oil pan off, and everything looks normal-ish, I guess. Inside the oil pan, there's a little bit of sludge. I ran the magnet over all of it and couldn't find any metal or anything, so I guess that's a good sign. As good as I could have hoped, I guess, for a pick and pull motor. I'm gonna pull this pickup tube off, which, as you can see, it does have a little sludge in her. Back the skid steer out and around, pull the car up, take the hood off, and set it down in there, and start to see kind of how it's gonna go. I have no idea where these mounts will line up with anything. I probably won't use these mounts at all. I'll build something off the regular 4 bolts and go to the frame rail somehow, but I have no idea where this motor is going to sit in the engine bay. It's a whole lot bigger, and I feel like my ambitiousness is starting to come to fruition on this little swap. I hope it goes well. Man, this is going to be a lot of work. Okay, I got a little sidetracked yesterday. Had to clean out in front of my shop here because I was eventually going to use the skid steer to put this engine in. But anyway, I need it done, and I had to start a new day. But as you can see, I have the oil pan off, and I've just got this sitting in here. It is obnoxiously tall in the front, so the stock hood will not work, obviously, but I'm just trying to get location to where it's going to sit. It's as far back as it can go right now, and I'm probably going to do away with this little pinch weld. Granted, I do not have the transmission adapter or anything yet, so it may or may not, the back end of the motor may or may not have to raise or lower or whatnot, but the stock engine mounts don't exactly line up to anything, so I think what we're going to do is build some boxed engine mounts that come out here, and somehow we're going to utilize the stock bolt holes, but probably not the stock engine mounts because they kind of take up a lot of room, especially on this side. When I go to make a turbo manifold, that may interfere. But my first thing and most biggest challenge is, I guess, is the oil pan. And I've just got the stock oil pan kind of mocked up under here. I ordered a new one. I've got that, so it'll be a little easier to weld to. My plan is, I guess, or at least I'm going to try to just hack up the stock oil pan. So as you can see, the sway bar and the power brace, they may or may not go or get relocated way forward or do some sort of different sway bar. I'm not sure there yet, but the front of the motor or oil pan is actually like right here. So I'm thinking that I can just make sort of mid-sump deal here, maybe with a wing on each side to get a little more oil capacity. I don't know, but I got some lines marked here. I'm gonna hack this thing up and see if I can make it fit down in there, bolted to the engine with a bunch of pieces missing, so that I can then transfer the template over to the new pan and box it in with some just sheet aluminum where the new pan is not all oil soaked. It hopefully it'll be a little easier to weld to. Anyway, I'm a little overwhelmed. This is gonna be a lot of work, and I guess I just need to get started. Okay, after way too long cutting, I've got what's left of the stock oil pan. So where the engine was sitting, I measured from where the oil pan mounts to the lowest part of the subframe, which is like 4-ish inches. So I've cut it all down to where, I don't know, I've got an idea of what the oil pan may or may not look like. This is completely up for change. I don't know. But anyway, I've got the motor pulled out a little bit. I'm going to put this oil pan in there and set it directly back down on this with just some shims or something off the subframe to kind of get an idea of what I'll have to do. Okay, after about 3 weeks or almost a month off, actually, I managed to pick up an AR5 transmission out of a early Colorado. Picked it up in Ohio. These things are seemingly hard to find, at least the 2-wheel drive models. Found one other one in Texas, but it was kind of like 5 hours away, and this was 20 minutes away from my mom's house in Ohio. So picked that little guy up. I have no idea if it's good. I assume it is. It's been so long I can't remember how much of my intake manifold I filmed. So I've kind of got it set up here to start welding, at least getting them tacked into place. I've got the piece of 4x4 for the other side of the intake that meets the plenum that I'll build from. So anyway, I've got my torch all set up, and I'm going to start welding this first runner on, get it tacked in there. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, I'm going to set you guys up and show you how I weld it. I'm not a professional welder by any means, so this may come out really good, or it may come out really, really bad. Oh, I had a little turbo debacle while I was gone. And I tried to order a turbo from eBay, the S13 turbo, just a Chinese turbo. First one got lost in shipping. They refunded my money, ordered another one. I ended up getting what appears like a 4-cylinder diesel head from some sort of motor, I assume off a tractor. Or lo and behold, when I returned, I had this little fella sitting on my front porch. This is the first one that spent a month in Houston lost at a FedEx location. Well, they reprinted the label and apparently they found at least some piece of the information, and so I have a free turbo now for this little build. She's looking a little sad over there. I haven't even uncovered it in probably over a month. Anyway, I'm gonna turn my gas onto the welder and get this thing set up on a little tripod, so maybe y'all can see. Okay, well, I am rusty as shit. Very rusty. Okay. Not enough amperage. Get in the swing of it now. It takes a little bit to get back in the move. My first tack, obviously not near as pretty. I'll end up grinding that out and making it better. But here's one little run. We'll let it cool down a little bit and then I'll keep going. Got shocked a few times.
Looks freaking amazing. And the last one.
Yeah, I got just enough gas to finish this.
Little ITB setup, huh?
Oh yeah.
Looks freaking good, man.
I mean, hell, that's 6 or 7 inches for room for intake plenum. Come out to about here and kind of angle it this way. Throttle body right here.
Plenty of room, huh?
Yeah, there's more room than I thought.
And Big Daddy himself in the house. Gonna pull this puppy out of here, stick the old AR5 on there, stuff it back in. I have a feeling we're probably gonna have to cut up the trans tunnel or something a little bit. Hey!
Oh yeah.
Should we mark the firewall with a Sharpie now, where it sits, you know what I mean? Just run a Sharpie along the... Definitely have to cut.
Cut or masseuse?
If you think you can massage that up that far, more power to you, brother, but I'm pretty sure we're
that's a lot, isn't it?
We're gonna have to get a cutoff wheel or something going here. Where's the top of that? This side ain't too bad, huh? Maybe like you said, a little massaging.
We're gonna try to massage the fuck out of it without cutting anything, but I don't think that's gonna be a possibility.
I don't think so either.
But I've got some big hammers, and these are just tin cans.
Yeah, he's like, I might be able to just hit that with a hammer a couple times, and we'll be good, I think.
I've got a porta power now.
Pulling some dowels out. You're not spinning?
Might be able to punch it out.
You got it. Got it. Bolt that trans up on there.
Want to go up with it a little bit?
Yeah, do we need to space the back up? Put a pillow under its butt. Just about there. We're running into one small issue. This little deal here.
See if you can spin it at all.
We need to pull that out of the crank because the spline is bottoming out on this and not allowing us to get the transmission to fully seat on here.
Looks like a titty.
Eat it. You want to made up the tram? Hey, she's going in now. In there. The nose of it is pointing kind of towards the sky.
Yeah, it's hidden.
So, a few clearance issues. Yeah, it's pushed up quite a bit.
Well, because it's sitting on that oil pan.
Oh yeah, you're right. Sure is.
Huh? No.
We bottle fed.
What kind of dog is this? So as you can see, Chris has a ton of work left to do on this thing. Finishing building the intake manifold, he needs to build a custom turbo manifold, not to mention just making the engine sit in there officially with mounts and all that stuff. But if you're into that sort of thing, stay tuned for more and hit that subscribe button. But for now, thanks for watching and see you next time.